With a very interesting return to our home. It's been a minute since we were here. I can't even count how many weeks it's been. We've been up and about. Rugby World Cup happened in between Kings Park Arena, the Rugby Chill, and Kickoff Sports Bar in Bukoto. We, of course, do extend our sincere appreciation to them for hosting us. Very, very good spaces. So many memories from the World Cup. So many interesting things and debates that came around that. Then the Victoria Cup also came into question. So it's been a very, very busy time for the Fat Cats. Welcome to the podcast yet again. No place like home. Of course, myself, Ruben Kihumuro, and Edwin Wawire. Edwin, how are you? Good, sir.
You saw that video of Shema?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guardian. I won't say I'm the guardian, but yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, so before we yet again get on another set of activities, we decided to have a conversation with a friend of the podcast, a legend in the game. I want to blame him for one thing. Uganda has been having so many issues with finding
I see where you're going.
Proper number 12, an out-and-out number 12.
Yeah.
And he maybe did not contribute to nurturing someone to get into his footsteps. But credit to people like Alex Mubiru, who are now working with the future of hookers in the country. Those are the two positions where we have been having a few challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Tony Stone Luggya. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yet again to the podcast. Of course, this is you're in an elite class now. This is your second time on the pod.
Yes, second time.
That means you did something right the first time.
Always a pleasure to be here and discuss the beautiful game of hooligans played by gentlemen. And yes, it has been a very exciting time of internationals. And it seems the 12 gap is finally filled after Kabazi left with Mura. Mura is doing very well, and I hope he can get some kicking skills and should be the complete 12.
How long did Kabazi even play for?
Kabazi played like 2 years, I think.
Yeah. It's not enough. Those are like 5 tests at most.
Yes,
like
but
2
he
years,
was a consummate all-round 12. I kind of gave some tips, but he had to go and do his master's in orthopedics. So.
Anyone you're currently seeing that you feel can fill the mold? Okay, we understand Mula is already there, but yes. Anyone else?
There's quite a bit of 12s. There's a young man in Cobbs who's been finishing campus, but Andrew Mugume is quite up there. Heathen's had a few issues there, but Gokto is a 13 for most part. I don't think he's a 12. And I'd actually put Wokorach earlier at 12 and 13, but the centers there are usually makeshift flyouts, and Magomu will chip in when Nkore has to come on, but there's still gaps across the board. All and out centers where the game plan revolves around them is still a place we still have considerations to work on. But that's a challenge for the incoming season for all the teams.
Dexter used to be a 12.
Dexter.
Dexter. I always tell Dexter, by the way, you're one of those guys, the biggest losses to this country. Like Dexter was that guy, by the way. Just that he couldn't see properly.
Yeah, he couldn't see. Couldn't.
Not like around this time.
We had a game at London College, and the guy was just knocking on. He couldn't see. It was
around
raining.
this kind of light, he's not seeing anything. I don't even know how that is. How he's a human being.
He played scrummer for club.
Yeah, he played scrummer, at the point.
But we knew when it got to dark, he would never pass. So we had to try to have all games wrapped up before vision became a problem.
Does having contact lenses in such a scenario help for rugby players?
Yeah, Adrian Bukenya, my captain, used to play with contact lenses. Sometimes they'd fall off in the grass, and he'd pick them up and we clean them and put them back in. But yes, you can still wear them.
How about these big goggles like Edgar Davids?
There's
Amonde used to put them on.
Yes, Amonde used to put them on. He had an eye issue, I think, was losing sight in one eye, but they're also rugby goggles.
Actually, Ambaka, not Amonde.
Ambaka.
Yes.
There's a guy, because I think, so there's a guy in Ireland also who had a tear of one of the arteries supplying his eye, and he eventually crossed to I think Italy or something, but he plays with he's a center or something. But you can the rugby goggles which are action condensing, you can fall down and roll. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Why the name Stone though? Where did it come from?
Stone is a nickname that stuck. My full name is Anthony Frederick Luggya, and Stone was his name that started in S1 and stayed on because in Namiliango you were thrown in a deep end, and my brother was a superstar for the S2 and team and the junior team, so I was flung into the team when everyone was getting injuries and backing out, breaking legs, breaking ankles. I think it's only me and Timothy who stayed. For most people took a break for 2 years. And I used to shave like my head off bald every time. So like Stone Cold Stone. So it kind of stuck. And when I got to S4, it's all the name. Everyone stopped calling me Tony at school. So kind of I wrote it in my final exams, and it's now my full academic qualification.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So it's
So
a
who
sign
else
from
was in
rugby.
that cohort of
My cohort,
yours? Yes.
my cohort was very mad. It had crazy rugby players, and Timothy Mudola, Simon Wakabi, there's Matovu Luanga, Magistrate Frank Kwesiga, he's in Makiso now, Moli Atubo, Emma Tarinyewa. This is the cohort that led to the formation of Box because there was so much talent coming, and the late Edward Chitaka. Me and Timo were the first guys to play for Cobs. I played in my S3 going to S4, 99, and Gama was the starting scrummer. Was a scrummer very tiny, but I couldn't play most of the games because he was priority, and most times when he was subbed, he didn't want to go off. So when I went back for my S5, I changed to center. But when we came out, there were so many people interested in playing rugby for Cobs. At training sessions, they had almost 3 teams. And what Chitaka had started earlier in 99 was to register Cobs, and then 2000 took effect. So he convinced me to step down for my S5 and S6 to play for Box. Me, the only person who didn't come down to Cobs was Simon Wakabi. But we had to go after Cobs and come back. So we'd have a taxi coming to Namiliango for us, and we knew we were in Box. By 11 after breakfast, you're in the taxi, permission, come and play Box matches. And Simon Wakabi was a superstar who didn't get any chance to come down because he was lethal in the back line.
Yeah, when you talk about taxis, you remind me of that time. Some cohort, I don't remember which year, but they missed a game.
That was my year.
For a game.
That was my year. So we had literally almost won the league, but
Yes.
We had a slight point margin, and we had Sosh with Navisusa, I think. And the whole team was my cohort, actually, except Misaka, who was a year below me. So first, we were not a very liked cohort because by S3, we were already on top of the school. So we hear from a colleague who's Arthur Mugweri, and he was training with Cobs, but tells us the weekend before we had played for Box and says, but I've been contacted by SMAC to go and officiate, and hope you guys are going. So the walkover would have given SMAC the trophy. We said no. So in the morning, we packed our suits and told the guys we'll catch you at Navisusa. Took a bike, told Misaka, jump in, we're going strictly to play rugby. And my SMAC friends were too shocked when they heard that we are in the parking ready to play and warmed up. So the interesting thing is that we won the game. Karugonjo was a young boy, I think in S3 he tortured me like a problem, but he's the one who concussed Wakabi Simon.
Wow.
So he was Wakabi was our fullback, but Karugonjo gave him a crazy tackle. So Simon didn't remember anything until we got to Sosh and says, where are we? Why do I have a bandage on my mouth? We're like, boss, we won the game. Let's first sort out Nigos and we shall go and discuss. So yes, that was our cohort. That was the one that went to Sosh with bruises and stuff.
ours we didn't partake in that. The game was the next day, but was supposed to
Yes.
travel before.
But okay, why do they make? Why do you know you're organizing the Sosh? Don't you know the rugby calendar? Why is it that there are those clashes? Now these guys were supposed to go to Komboni, and they had what
We
Navisusa.
had Navisusa
Ah,
Sosh.
man, I can't even blame them. You can't miss a Navisusa.
So
No, the problem was we agreed to attend until lunchtime.
And
So we got a taste of what we would miss
said you can't
if we
miss
wait on the bus.
You know what happens after lunch? How do you
yeah,
you'd
after
rather
lunch
miss the morning
is
session?
the most important part of social.
No, but you see, we had to pay to boost numbers, and those days we used to pay a little money for Sosh. So we had to boost the numbers. So we appeared and whatever. Then we said we'll eat our food and then we go. My
That's
friends.
impossible. The most interesting part of
Yes,
social is
man,
after
it's
lunch.
Rugby became a
girls.
second option.
Like man,
Yes.
I can get tacos on the other. You guys chose hugs and dabs over tacos.
Igos was the Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart was the song of the time. So there was no way we
Said
were going to go
Komboni
there
will
to
be
just see
fine,
Komboni.
yes.
So we woke up in the morning and we were like going to the HM. Actually, in the evening when the bus left, Navisosa is now when we got back our minds and like, hey, we have a game tomorrow. So we went to the HM's house to try and convince him to give us a van or whatever. The guy said no. Mr. Busyman didn't talk to us for a week.
He must have been disappointed, definitely.
But anyway, Victoria Cup has just ended.
Yes.
Well, we have been talking to a couple of people about their take on how it has been. How have you seen this tournament? Of course, we've not been having proper 15s in Uganda for a minute, but now we have Victoria Cup coming up. We have also the Elgon Cup second leg. We have two Tunisia tests, so
Tunisia tests,
lots
yeah.
of 15s rugby back. But Victoria Cup, from organization and from the team, how do you see? How are things from your perspective?
The organization was very excellent, and the tests are much needed exposure to the boys, especially the fact that we had taken our foot off the pedal for 15s, but then it's actually more lucrative. When I was talking to one of the directors in Kenya, I think 8 or 10 years ago, the target was to get into the top 30 of the RB. RB that time was giving money. It's like, you know what, the money, if we get to the top 30, will give us so much money to spend even in the sevens. But the sevens was easier to achieve the low-hanging fruits of visibility and what. But the key for rugby is to build a very robust 15s international, and the boys have stepped up. The team is gelling now. It's still new, still gelling. So there's some young boys, most are below 30, so they're still here for the next 5-10 years. And they did very brilliant work on the weekend against our nemesis, our nice neighbors, like we call them. Yeah, but it's a good thing. We missed Zimbabwe. I don't know why, but it would be good to have this as a new tournament that we look forward to and say, fine, we have 4 tests, which is up from the usual 2 tests of the World Cup and Car Africa Rugby.
Okay. Uganda triumphed against Kenya.
Yes.
Here at Kings Park. Of course, Kings Park being 2 out of 2, as they say. Now, in international games, Uganda has not lost at Kings Park.
Yeah.
Yes, they have 100% record. Yes.
100%.
But yeah, much needed joy and much needed win against Kenya. Setting up a berth in Kisumu. First, I want to ask, what do the boys need to do to get the win in Kenya? You have played there.
Yeah.
A couple of, I'm sure it's not an easy environment to be in.
Yeah.
Not only physically but psychologically. So, what do you think the boys need to do?
Just have belief and take as many chances as you can, because it's a game of close margins in when it comes to Uganda, Kenya. And if you don't close the game out in the first half with all the penalties you can get, Kenya has a way of being a different beast at home. 80 minutes of madness, and their crowds and fans are fanatic. They know how to intimidate you, make you make mistakes as flyer, who's kicking. So if the team has done and covered all its gaps, they should be able to control the game. What the boys did at the breakdown was very good to an extent. The back row and even the other tight fives need to pull all the weight and have little guys as breakdown, but have imperious defense. Defense wins games, and offense is the cherry on top. So if you can defend and avoid them from getting any points in your half, that's the key. The first try I thought was a bit of a defense lapse, but it opened up. But you don't want to start chasing shadows after the first line of defense is broken. Yeah.
Okay. What's your craziest memory?
Of
Elgon
what?
Cup memory. I mean,
Elgon
the
Cup.
encounters you've been part of.
So it's actually three, I think. My first cup was against Kenya before it was called Elgon Cup. I joined the team obviously. I'd been dropped for 2 years constantly and then got in after. But we met Kenya at Chadondo and they had just been beaten by Uganda in Nairobi in 2002. So for them, it was a revenge game. And I was a young boy, 19-year-olds, and thrown in at the deep end. But uh, it was for me, it was blood. I mean, there was Sami Kakama at fly off, the late Enos of Nakuru, let Benjamin Ayimba, and let Ogre, who were like menaces in the back row. It just woke me up to realize that there's lots of emotion. I mean, someone's tackling you, throwing a punch here and there, squeezing different parts of you, but you realize for them it was payback time. The first win for me against Kenya and the first win in Nairobi, and I'll just say why I think belief is very key. I'd never beaten Kenya for 2 years or 3 years until my roommate Adrian Kenya would wake up in the morning. He's the captain and say, "No, we're winning this game." We had lost seven players. I think Alan Musoka had gone to either India or something, and Tabaruka, the whole first speedsters. We had a shaky team. I was 12, so we didn't have team. I think Timothy Mudola was there, but the 10-12 was the only fulcrum that was there. 14-15 was Wakabi, then Lumu's first game, and Edmond at fly off. We didn't have belief, but I woke up in the morning. But so my roommate was always singing how we're beating Kenya. He was Kenyan, obviously, but I was like, this guy has faith in us, and me who's playing, I don't have faith in myself.
Yeah.
So we actually beat them at Chadondo, and for me that was the eye open and saying, oh, this all this hype does not matter when the ref comes on board. You just have to put your ball in. I think Lumo scored his first try. Edmond was, I think, had just been promoted to the national team straight from box, and he first he hated me in Namiliango, so we're not yet on good terms, and I had to be his 12. So we're not yet as fluid as we should have been, but we eventually won the game. But I was coaching Chambogo, so when we beat Namiliango twice, the whole team were having issues. So winning in Nairobi in Kenya is a big thing. So Chester's game in Nairobi is when we beat them. We're I think 14 or 15 points down. I got a yellow card and I was out for the last 10 minutes of first half where I had a hell lot of words from Chester, and yet I was in charge of the game plan at the first phase and second phase. So he's like, what the heck are you doing here? So he went on tirade and also blamed Wadia for a missed tackle because I think there was a shootout and John Musoke didn't tackle, and one of the tries was scored by Victor Sudi. So Wadia and me were the guys being scolded at halftime. And I didn't even think we had a chance to come back, but I think Wadia picked the ball from our 10 and ran for his life and scored one of the most marvelous tries that made our comeback. And after that, it just went downsides. Our kicker was on point. I think we won by 2 points in 2006. That for me is the happiest. And the 2007 African Championship again, after Kenya in the semi-finals. So I didn't play in Kenya that year, 2007. We had a draw in Legends, 7-7, and the team went to Nairobi. I think me and Kenneth Mutawaruka say we are the only guys who had 100% winning record in 2007.
Yeah.
The lawyer. So he had law work, I had medical work and internship, so I didn't go to Nairobi. And they whooped us, I think, 34, 15 or 11. So they were very confident that they were meeting us in the semi-final in Madagascar and they were winning. What happened was the 1 week we spent in Pretoria at Blue Bulls that lifted the team up so much that even when Sogi got a yellow card at 5 minutes, we were so positive, and belief is key. Chinene was told thrice by the captain go to the back of the rack, the ball is coming out. This is on Kenya ball.
Yes.
And Chinino, like, captain, what are you saying? He said, no, don't ask questions. The ball is coming out, go to the back. Like, we're 6 men. Like, no. So that's how much belief we had. And even when we were 7 men in the park, we got out on, that was our biggest margin against Kenya, 28 or something. So these games are close, but I think belief in the team and each other team member is very key. Which the boys now have. They're young, they're blooded now, more experienced, captain at the 10, and a few seniors who can guide, like Okos, and we should be out of the water.
Yeah, I think guys see Edwin here, and they think he's a joke, but Edwin was a pretty good jumper. But the thing is, he started as a number 10.
As a flyer.
I don't know how he ended up in flank and as a jumper.
That was Chimono's decision. Chimono changed the number. He said, you go to the park, this one come to the back line. Yeah, so that's how I ended up playing.
Yes, but he was a pretty good jumper. Maybe one of those that maybe we should have had, even with Warriors.
There's no way I was playing for the national team. I didn't like that stress.
Why?
It's good stress.
Man this guy likes easy life.
I like sweet life.
It's good stress. Like,
he likes people
we came out of high
caressing
school
him.
and
They
we
like
had
people tackling.
a target to be in national team after 2 years. But I remember Herbert Wafula and just crossed from 12 when he had put on weight and came from number 6 to 12 and told me you have 2 years to wait. This is 2001. But now I don't think any S6 Vakis can even think of falling in because of the categories we had under 20, under 19 and stuff. Yet that time we were banging ourselves with all the old guys at 17, 18, 19. So it's protective, but you shouldn't have lost hope.
Edwin, what's your fondest Elgon Cup memory?
Yeah, I mean, when I read the squad that try when we beat Kenya at Legends, I don't recall the year, but all I remember is that Michael gave him a chicken wing offload, and then we scored the try. I think there's a picture where he scores the try you could see, and then the comeback began from there. And Uganda eventually won that game. Then there was that try Chimono squad against Kenya, where he basically outran everyone. I think what I recall is that Ogwete carried the ball, and then in carrying the contact, the ball was dislodged and went behind. And then Chimono,
Timothy Mudola turned
then Chimono got the ball and just zoom. Then there's that I think was 2013, I think, at Karasani.
Yes.
But then there was one at Chadondo where Ogwete carried the ball. Then the ball was dislodged in contact. Chimono got the ball and just ran. And when he ran, he could not stop. He just could not stop, and no one could catch him.
Man, a lot of people should have seen that Chimono.
Yeah, so those are my fondest memories. You know, there are not very many because of beating Kenya was a little bit tight.
It's a bit tight, but now it's
so usually they are majorly just tries, all this. So what? Then there was also BOD when he grabbed the Kenyan flanker by the thread of his shirt at Chadondo near the pork place before the guy could score. Then when we beat that game next week, we were hammered. So the guys who are going to they need to be mindful of that.
After we win a game, we get a beating.
The thing is, yes, that's why I'm saying defense ideally should be able to sort it out, because it's going to be hectic. The first half is going to be of avoiding mistakes and heavy hitting, because they want to prove a point also. Yes.
But anyway, as we are here, I know a couple of people have not had this in a minute. We had the Fred and Winnie BNB. We had the Fred and Winnie BNB. 10 self-contained private bedrooms consisting of 2 deluxe doubles, 3 standard doubles, 1 deluxe twin, and 2 standard twin bedrooms. Fully equipped kitchen, power backup system, Wi-Fi, laundry services, a chef to cater to your meals, a sumptuous buffet breakfast with a choice of selected tropical fruits and juice, pick up and drop off to and from Entebbe International Airport, as well as local transportation for getting around or for up-country trips can be arranged if you book in advance. The number to call will be on the lower third, but for those that are listening to the audio, the number is 0778 933 559, 0778 933 559. So anyway, let's jump into Kampala Old Boys and start with a bit of good news. KCB, can see your KCB. I mean, sponsorships that come with even new clothes. Some dope shit,
things just flow very, very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, KCB, they're clad in their new kit. Oh, by the way, before we even get further, guys, Fat Cats match, as you can see. What is cheaper for you, diapers or jumpers?
Yeah, tell them.
So, would you rather buy diapers for, let's say, how long? How long do you usually buy diapers for? 3 years, 4 years?
2-3 years, yeah.
2-3 years.
But then you'd rather buy a jumper once, and you be kawa. So make your choice. Anyway, you can reach out to Fat Cats Podcast and get your merchandise from jumpers to bucket hats to t-shirts to vests to crop tops. Girls have been looking sexy over the weekend. So many people. We appreciate those that have bought, those that are buying. Please, you can still pre-order, and even for custom orders, we are accepting those. Anyway, KCB is on board as their title sponsors, right?
Yes.
Name sponsors.
Name sponsors.
Yes, name sponsors, and of the Kampala Old Boys.
Yeah.
Tell us, how did that come to play? Because we have seen you guys, let's say, indulge a couple of other
sponsors, yes,
stakeholders, or maybe perhaps partners. But how did you guys end up with KCB?
So there's a saying that the journey of the idea to the product or end is not straight. We've had quite a bit of engagement with sponsors. It's been quite a challenging one, and COVID obviously messed up most of the financial flows for most of the companies. So you hit many doors and everything, but we reached from KCB, we discussed last year, finalized an agreement, and we were just waiting for implementation initially, and the back and forth were like, should we take the deep plunge, see what's up, and then we told them, you know what, just watch the space and see how it is, and the rugby space works for their particular interest in coming into sports. But most importantly, also what helped us was they have been involved in sports across the border. So of all the partners we reached out to, they're the ones that said, oh, our teams actually understand rugby from across the border. So it's been back and forth, almost like 12 to 18 months of discussion, but finally the deal was signed, and we're happy to launch the KCB Corps.
Okay. Now there have been people who have been asking about the jersey. What's the story about that? First of all, you guys are usually known for your customary blue as your color. We've seen a habit of clubs in Uganda. When they get a sponsor, they normally assimilate to the sponsor's colors. Do we expect that with Kampala Old Boys?
No. Our club colors are known. We've come from quite very far, from even white and red, but the club colors are blue, black, and white. The bit of green for our junior team and that, but the kit should be arriving either 8 to 10 weeks from now, because it takes the time to procure, and we shall be unleashing the design kit, a very beautiful kit. I think it will be the best kit in underground, so you better brace yourselves.
Okay.
Even Edwin, we shall give him.
I have made it. Their sizes like for Edwin.
Edwin, we shall give him 4XL, but that's fine.
As a Cubs fan also.
Yes.
No, let me tell you, the truth is,
fit, yes.
80% of us were all Cubs fans. I won't even lie, even me.
Yes.
I was a Cubs fan. I kind of still am a Cubs fan, but I'm more of a rugby fan these days.
Now a generalized rugby fan.
Yes.
Like if there's a final between two teams and Cubs is involved, you tend to lean towards Cubs, and then they shock.
Like I was happy. Like, see that final game in the league, I was happy for Pirates, but again, man, Cubs losing the way they lost it was not a good thing.
It's a learning process. I mean, we've had even the All Blacks had disastrous performance against Springboks. So the beautiful thing about sport is you're not guaranteed consistent performance if you don't merit the work you're putting. So the small things you have to fine tune and say, fine, we have all our things covered. And that's you can never be at the top all the time. Even the All Blacks have gone back home, they don't think and say, fine, where our defense gaps, our kicking gaps obviously are challenging. So they have to look for a new icon of kicking, they have to look for someone who can play under pressure. Even the Springboks, as much as they've won, they're going to have to say, boss, we need to be closing off games very fast. So that's the beauty of sport. And Cubs has been on near misses, as in winning by a coin toss, 1 or 2 drop goals that go out, and then a few other issues. But Pirates did merit the win of the league. We also dropped the ball a bit. We were the only team to have 3 losses and make the final on merit due to our attacking prowess. We had 13 bonus points, more than points that the last 2 teams or 3 teams had in the whole league. So, yeah, that's a positive for me. I just think we were pouring in tries their side, but also not closing down this side. So there are things I think need to be worked on. But yes. But the kit definitely will be here by end of December or January, and should be launched either by the Uganda Cup final or the league beginning.
You know, when Cobs has money, it becomes a very dangerous team.
Cobs with the money. By the
No.
way,
We are just
we need to talk
we are
about
shaking the
that.
people in
Yeah.
charge.
When the guys have money, they are dangerous to deal with.
I don't know if it's only us that have noticed that trend, but when Cobs has money, I mean, I remember D-Mark, I remember UTL. I did not watch Underwriters and Mango that much, but D-Mark, looking at
Underwriters,
Betway,
yes.
Whenever Cobs has some cash on them, they are
deliver.
unstoppable. But once
They're
the
like
money,
a blesser. They just
once
score.
the money disappears like this and the sponsorship balance
No, but we won the league in 2013 before Betway, 14 without money, without losing a game. Like Brian Asawa was telling me that money shouldn't be the motivator, because we've won the 2014 or 15 league. We won it without any money before DMAC. That's part of the reason that inked the DMAC deal. We went unbeaten the whole season and won. DMAC didn't hesitate to sign us on.
But you see, those days your generation was different from
yes, that's what I'm saying.
You guys used to play for the love of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you
now
convince?
Things have changed.
How do you convince a kid these days?
Yeah.
Man, just play for the love of the game.
Yeah.
It is difficult, but you have to adopt different changes. But we're coming back slowly. I was chatting with Coach Marvin, who was laughing in my inbox. I told him, boss, we have to shake you a bit. You don't be sure you're in charge anymore. So it's going to be an exciting time for us and all the league in general. But most importantly, it raises the profile of the game.
Yeah.
And if we can attract all sponsors for every club, the better. Because I'm sure 2 clubs I know have already reached other banks and are already portraying and saying, fine, bring this on. So in a few months, you'll hear that, hey, this and this is this bank. So to an extent, if they can get more money into the game, better. We'll move from amateur and maybe semi-professional.
It just makes even Pirates Cobs even a better affair now. Part of the bankers.
But I don't know if they're going to extend it to Kenya. Where
They
there's
should- I hope
Stambik
they do.
Mwamba, there is KCB, then you have KCB Cobs.
we already in talks with our sponsor. We already have a set out plan for our preseason games with KCB coming, and we go there for the games. So, but also we would want to have a home and away duel. If Cobs goes to Nairobi, they play KCB, but also play Stambik Mwamba. The chairman is my teammate from MP, so he says, no, you come and we do it. So that when the KCB comes, they play KCB Cobs and also Pirates, and so we can have a small mini bankers gala before the league. So that would be something.
That would be some good action.
Yes.
Something nice.
Edwin, before we ask Stone to really tell us a little bit about how he has seen his tenure as chairman, how there is what actually happens on the inside, then there's what we see on the outside.
Yes.
What have you seen from Stone and his tenure as chairman?
Yeah, from the outside, we've seen, I think there used to be a few ramblings here and there about what's going on, and usually the bar talk, you get to hear things. But I think that was early, but I'll start from the latest part where we had the Savula media post, and they were like saying the man wants to grab power. He has the constitution, he wants to amend it. Is it SGM or something like that?
Yes.
SGM. Then they mentioned something about blue-eyed boy.
Dungu.
So
Dear
dear friend Joseph Dungu. So those are the things that we've been hearing and whatever. And you get to wonder what the issue is, and also the public outbursts of a few fans here and there about some issues, and it's concerning because at the end of the day, when it's a club you maybe once supported and whatever, introduced to rugby, it's a little bit concerning to see that the club is going to have these issues about things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before you even talk about it,
Yeah.
just to go back to that post, I mean, it was posted at 9:02 a.m. on the 25th of October 2023.
Yeah.
Sabula Media puts out a tweet, developing story. Dr. Stone Luggya intends to amend the Cobs Rugby constitution to cling to power. Sources have informed Sabula Media that the Makerere Don is
Not Don the bad man, but Don the lecturer.
is planning a special general meeting slated for 18th November 2023 to run roughshod over the Cobs constitution.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long thread. I'm not going to go through a lot of it, but
Yeah.
man, in the morning and you wake up, you have your plans for the day, then you see something like that about
They're
you.
sending you
People forget,
screenshots in your DM.
For me,
people forget
it was
that
sad
these
that,
people are also human beings. Man, how did
It
you
was
feel?
sad. I initially was wondering what exactly is happening, but we decided as the ExCom not to give verification to some unknown entity in terms of person, and the fact that the members in COBS know what has been transpiring from 2017.
Yeah.
This is an idea the previous chairman had. The current ExCom, the previous ExCom, Adrian Bukenya, we thought about it. Rwanga Samuel didn't focus on it, but we said let's do it. In light of all this cover going on around across the road, so we said no, let's streamline who a member of COBS is, which are the clubs, and also because last year we had a bit of bruising battles between egos really, and some people
And Box,
someone wants to come and take the property of the club and make it their own, and then say you've only come and paid 1 million. The club has played for 15 weeks. We have paid over 15 billion, and you say we are all entitled to break away. And it defeats the purpose of structure and organization. I am a teacher, but I also like organized things. And I've been burnt and learned from my mistakes. I left in Impis when I was chairman in 2006. We left the constitution starting, which I think Louis and Caesar, I wanted Caesar to be here, but I think he's on those things. So we had a problem in Impis. We left everything. We thought we had left everything in check, whereby continuity for us was our key game. We had done the best 10s in 2006.
Yeah.
We had the biggest, over 3,000 guys at Chadondo. We had some money that we had to put into reading the pitch. We didn't have a constitution per se that was organized. And it said we're students, we're members of Makere, we're affiliated to the union, but didn't clarify that, there's a rugby club called Impis, then there's a university team. There should be ability for people who leave the university and don't want to go to any club to stay and play, which I think Louis eventually did. And that was the basis of when I came to COBS. And I came as a chairman from Impis. I played for 10 years for COBS before I thought about being full-time into management. Not because I couldn't, but I was trying to prioritize my focus on playing my career out as best as I can. And I've been in all ExComs from 2011. So I know what we've been discussing. So you find someone who has come for 2 years or 3 years, doesn't want to understand where we're coming from. We've discussed this for 3 years, running to an entity. And as much as we need checks and balances, COBS is a pedigree club. You've known what it is. You tarnish the name of a club and rugby in general. We're in the process of cleaning up the sport in terms of getting other club sponsors. And your selfish ego drives you to believe you can do that. I chose not to pay attention to it because I don't think it's a discussion for non-members because we've all agreed. But most importantly, it's a bit unbecoming and frivolous for us to indulge in these musical kind of arguments on the gates. You can't come up and ask Stone what's up. Pew, pew, pew. Answer what here, cause what. These are musical arrangements. And COBS is a pedigree club. So if you don't want to come and put things clear, which have been explained for 2 years, and now you go running behind because you feel you have some data and hiding behind someone, yet you're not paid membership for over 3 years. You understand? So there's challenges we're streamlining, but all we're doing is keeping it in the battle sports. I need, maybe when my son lives in Young and comes, in 15 years, you won't find COBS split from box and deteriorated down to the second league because of selfish egos. Okay. That's the only drive really. And I like organized things. I don't like leaving things as disorganized as I left them. In Impis, Power left Heathens after his squad was as a coach before Magona took over, came to Impis. Obote let him in. He ran the race as the coach for I think a year or two. Got in and made himself the chairman. And we had left a vibrant sponsorship with him as cement. I got a call from Penina, who was the Sports and Games Union, and my patron, Dr. Bataringaya, who was my teacher also in medical school, but she was like, Stone, you need to come to the meeting. They've been called by the marketing manager of HIMA. The Muzungu was abusing them in the boardroom, saying, you're giving us little money, you should increase. This is an impiece that was not passing number 3, number 4.
Yeah.
And yet it was a student-only club. So I think that's when the Louis came and said, no, streamline that and get that sorted. So you also have target voters in COBs who come and say, you don't even know about rugby and you're coming to the club. So we're saying, no, if you want, we're introducing delegates where you have to be a delegate and paid up for 5 consecutive years or 3 consecutive years.
Not just paying up before the election.
But people have not seen back. So we want to say, and even the club has been sponsorless for 10, 12 months, but you're asking for this. And you're not paying your membership also. So it defeats the purpose. We're trying to streamline things. You're here on Mozigo arguments, yet you have no factual basis. So we said we won't take that argument in the social media space if you don't understand where it is, but we are also done with target voters who affiliate and want to bring their cavalry to the club. If you're a delegate, you should have paid for 3 years constantly, and we know that you have commitment to the club. You don't make noise and say, I don't want to pay my membership, but I want to subscribe to the club. And then go tarnishing the club's name on social media. Yeah. It's a bit demeaning and a bit unbecoming, but that's quite a bit of what I can say. I don't want to go into details, but I think most of the members are aware about what's happening. And there's no intention. I don't need to cling to power. This club has drained me the most I've been. And it's not anything but because I love the club, I want to leave it better than I did. And it's just that there are stakes of how a club can go into the drain. And Impis went from that to deterioration to second division and not recovered since. So, yet we almost won the league, I think, in 2004-05. We won 7s in 2004. Then they won it in 2010. So, to an extent, if there are structures that are clear, management should be streamlined at that and not have in-betweens and that. Yes.
Do you know the people that maybe share that information with Sabula Media?
I got some details, but I don't need to. It's some people that have. So I have a contact who told me things, but I'm like, why would you think of that? You're not even a member, but you're making noise. As much as we respect all fans, and we've been actually intentional about getting wider fan base. Yeah. You don't bring your disorganization elsewhere and then dump it on a club that's the oldest in the country. Yeah. And we're not here by accident being the oldest club. So I don't want to give so much credit to non-members and fans. There's a thin line between fans and members. So even not knowing where to stop as a fan is also crucial, and not knowing where to begin as a member is also crucial, because it blurs the lines, and then you get carried away and say, fine, I can have some that I can think I can attack Stone and do this and do that. Yeah, so that's it. I didn't want to dwell on it much, but
there was a whole campaign about you on Sabula Media. It was called Keeping Up with Dr. Stone.
I saw it. I had people sending it, but I'm like, it's like I said, the bigger picture is rugby. And the chairman sent me some screenshots of the same people. As much as they have a good intention for rugby development, he said they criticized him at the beginning of the campaigns, but also congratulated him at the end. So it's good checks and balances, but it would be better if people had a face and say, fine, let's address these issues. You raise your issues, we discuss them, then you shall see, because it defeats the purpose when someone is using an identified entity and then using that as a basis to slander. So don't you send me 2 messages and say, boss, I also got my fair share, but I think they are just good fans. We need them, and but the only thing is we have no way to address them.
Do you think there is a way, like how you mentioned earlier that there is the club across has its issues that they're trying to resolve.
Yeah.
Do you think their closed door fashion of resolving issues would be something you'd want to have in your club at the moment?
Closed door is not essentially a bad thing. I mean, if members are affiliated to a club,
Yeah.
I'm a member of Kampala Club, but there's nothing closed door. If I pay my membership, I get my weekly reminders about everything that's happening. So
Yeah.
it's not closed door. I mean, a club is a members entity. The club, Cobs Rugby Club, is a membership club. You have to get up in the first quarter and say, I've paid my membership, and not say I'm a fan. Fans are welcome, yes, but members are different. The entity of Cobs Rugby Club by constitution is a members only club. Yes. So it's not a closed door policy.
Mm.
All our members are open and transparent about what's expected and outcomes. Yeah.
So let's talk about membership a little bit. And one thing that defines rugby in Uganda is the grapevine,
Yeah.
the conversations in the bars. Now people are drinking their Nile special.
Mm.
Now, from the first election, there was, of course, a discussion, or there were claims that you did have to. I mean, membership for Cubs was at 50,000, if I'm not
No, no,
mistaken.
no. Membership of clubs is determined by the EXCOM.
Determined by
I think-
EXCOM.
yes,
So
that is-
now I'm going to tell you what I had.
Yeah.
That you got a couple of people, mostly from like UCU,
Yes.
with probably the help of the blue-eyed boy,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and you paid their membership so that
Yes.
they can be able to vote
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
vote in your favor. Is that true?
No, I had knowing I was first. There were some things that didn't go well that time. We agreed on Friday before the elections, but those are internal things. Some things didn't go well, and we had resigned to some outputs on the day where we raised issues. I said we agreed this, so and so is the avenue of voting. You're plugging off the line, and anyway, it is a sad thing, but I had no intention. All I did was mobilize, and the power of mobilization is that I'll give a call to someone, and they won't think twice about paying membership.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay for any single soul. All I did, I activated all my old players, teammates that were playing with me, fans that I knew, and they said, "Fine, for you, we're going to come and vote."
No,
I was
reached
never
out to
in
us,
control
former
of
Cubs
anything.
fans.
So the thing is,
Yeah.
and the 50,000 was for players. Sadly, so it was perceived that way. But
Yeah.
the election, when the point of contention came, I said, "But I have 15 online and there are 5. Why don't you use the online votes?" And they pulled them off. So the thing is, that's a disorganization we don't want to have as a pedigree club. I mean,
Yes.
if you say we are using online bots, this, and that, we should be doing it clean. And not that I want to discuss internal club things, but we just want to set a precedence that we are pace setters in Uganda rugby.
Yeah.
When Cobs is on song, Uganda rugby on song, 2007, 2006, 2008, 2002. So we don't want to be in Kavuyo all the time. And my lecturer at the university, I don't think I like things that are very unclear.
Yeah.
The rules, you're a student, you come, you obey rules, you finish, you go out. You don't come and then you see the university has been there for 1922 and you want your own interpretation of how to join the university and how to pass an exam. But if you're failed, they will take your failed. If you're a member, you're a member. If you're not, pay membership and then raise noise. Yes, so that's a bit of organization, and that's the beauty of the rugby that we've grown up knowing. Yeah, so we don't want to have everyone that feels they have some data feels they are experts in rugby and can criticize and give their opinion.
Keyboard warriors. they
Keyboard
call them.
warriors, yes, which are good in terms of vibrancy of the sport, but we need to have a same balance of where those fans make stop and where do I become a member. If I become a member, the avenues of addressing the club. I will not. Every club, I mean, if even at Chadondo, you will go and say, "Fine, you're talking as a fan, you're talking as a member.
Yeah.
Have you paid membership?" And then you can address Tabaruka. Not because you see Stone in the bar, you think you can send a message when you're drunk and stuff like that. Or on the fans. So there's some few things that I feel the ball has been dropped. But we're a club that we welcome everyone, and we're not doing any sort of hidden agenda things. And we're part of the best clubs, and it should be fine, I think.
All right.
When you talked about keyboard warriors, I remember this post that we put out, the video we put out for the Goose Step Challenge.
Yeah.
Of fans, some of them I don't know what goose steps those were, but then there was some guy that quoted that post and was like, the armchair generals. I don't know if that is exactly how he phrased it, but it was like those guys that be saying, why didn't he pass the ball to the winger? What to exploit the overlap?
Yeah.
Man couldn't even throw a proper goose step.
Yeah, things happen. Things happen.
Yeah, but so Dr. Stone, just to get it clear, are you trying to extend the chairman's tenure in COBS?
In terms of
from the allegations that are being put out?
Yeah, from several media or something.
so this is going to be discussed at the SGM. So
Okay.
we wanted to align the union calendar is 4 years, the international calendar is 4 years. We wanted to align and see, fine, does it make sense to have a 2-year term in a 4-year system of the union, or maybe a 2-year term in a 4-year system of the World Cup? And it's just that we're streamlining organization in that. So those are all things that we are discussing at the SGM.
Okay.
And yes, the terms the provisions of the Constitution of 23 years ago, which was done in 99, did not allow for the progress that we've done now. We've grown threefold. We now have 3 clubs that need an identity and membership. Because I don't want to say we're going to stick with the changes that don't apply, but all these are in terms of making sure that box is described very well as what it is, the membership of Panthers, the membership of COBS Rugby Club, and also the fact that we can then do things as a club. Because, and this, I've been consulting widely. I mean, this has been from my colleagues across the board, Nondi's Rugby Club, the oldest rugby club. They came for the tens by the way because of our close interaction. And their secretary is actually my former teammate at Peace, and he's a lawyer. He's like, you know what, this is how we operate. We have a structured hierarchy and organized tenure, even Mwamba and all their clubs. So it's more like borrowing from where it has worked. Now we have nothing that's worked for us. Now we are trying to streamline, and that's the target that we're trying to do and live it better. I mean, when our kids are coming in 10, 15 years, we should be able to have a structure in place and say, fine, if there's a pitch, if there's a club, there should be a club that's known as this, and should be like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think before we now get away from this topic of finger pointing and all that, the last thing I'd have to maybe say that is going around.
Yeah.
We have seen a couple of fans come around, do small harambes and give some money to the players and whatnot. So the conversations going around is that Dr. Stone and COB's leadership is not taking care of players. That now, to the extent that fans have to collect amongst themselves, award player of the match money. They have to maybe take care of some guys' medical bills. They have to, basically what they're saying is they from their shadow cabinet, I should say in quotes, they are the ones that are collecting money that is running these club activities. But then also the fact that now, take for instance from the sevens is a time even when COBS fielded a very, very, I should say, very young side without many of the senior players. I don't know if they stopped in the group or something. They had a really bad outing.
Last year.
Yeah, this current sevens that just ended.
Yeah.
But also they said around that time it was because players were striking because of payments, and then they had to step in to take care of transport of the players across the country for the sevens. Man, you know, so many things are said.
I am a guy of facts. I don't like battle. So sometimes if you don't come and ask me, you'll not get the facts. The EXCOM has run 3 clubs for 2 years.
Yes.
Without on a shoestring budget, but without a sponsor. That is, and the functions of the club of the EXCOM are to dress the kit, dress the club, transport them, feed them, and avail them on the pitch for play.
Yeah.
And then pay the allowances. And that has been done by far and large by the EXCOM. The fans have contributed immensely, and we appreciate so much about them. I don't know who gave you the misinformation, but that shouldn't be construed to believe that we need all our players motivated.
Yeah.
If the fans give them money, well and good. But if you're going to Kitgum and your bill is 9 million, yeah, and that's covered by Excom, and then contribution is 1.5 next day, that's also welcome. If that's given the players, that's almost 10.5 on a weekend.
Yeah.
Don't negate the fact that their 9.9 million has come from somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to understand that seeing all the kids, teams on the pitch and stuff. So it's a contributory effort. We appreciate the fans, but to some extent, like I said, you have to understand where the line is and say, if I'm a fan, I'm a fan. I won't be a fan after I finish my time and I go back to the best. But I will also advise and encourage when I get there. I'm like, you know what? Don't underestimate what people are doing. Harlequins has been celebrating its women's team. It's the oldest club in Kenya, holds all the finances. Yet we've been running Panthers for 2 years now. From 5 girls at training to 18 girls at training, it's something that not everyone can do and shoulder when you have no sponsors. So there are things happening in the background that we don't indulge in but talk about. But seeing cops dressed and kitted and all investigations and CT scans, each is 250 or 500,000. You understand? So every person that gets a head injury needs that done. Needs an X-ray, which is 70, 80,000. If you have 3 X-rays in one weekend and 2 CT scans, which are 250, 300, that's money that is going to be coming from somewhere. So it's a process we acknowledge has been challenging in terms of welfare. But like I told you, we are still amateur.
Yeah.
No club can afford to maintain people on a salary. That is unrealistic. Yeah. And that even, I will tell you, no one has. So what they can do is finance your transport allowance and give you top-ups, small top-ups that can be making you break even. Until we get to semi-professional, which we need to have as many sponsors as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will not be making progress in that direction. So the numbers are growing. The target should be the sustainability. Each club ideally should have like a pitch side, stadium, clubhouse, and not live on survival of members. Part of the reasons we did the Chitaka Tens was like I cannot see Cobs go through. I've been here from underwriters. When we had underwriters, we had 1 or 2 years before I went to Impis. When I was in high school. So when I came back, UTL had signed. UTL signed from 2000, 2002, 3. Then they switched to Mango. Mango went down. Then I was in Impis when I came back. There was a lull of 2 years before, I think, which was the next after UTL, DMAC. 3 years of dryness before DMAC. We played with DMAC for 4 years. Then, 2 years. Then Betway came on. Did 5 years of Betway. After COVID, they were terminated. Now we have to leverage on that experience to understand that it's not sustainable for you to be spending everything and not having a future plan. I mean, that's only, and this is our game we're not going anywhere with. Even the next 18 years, I'm still here watching every game every weekend, but are we living it in a better spot? Yep. So, and Chadwell has done very well to have their own ground, to have the clubs they have. That's what ideally every club should be aspiring to do. Yeah, not weekend of Nigos and allowance and spending it.
Yes, firing shots at someone. Yeah,
I know you're the Nigos king, but anyway, so that's what drives part of what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
that if Chitaka 10 picks up on its own, we'll almost even move to a floodlight tournament like the Floodies for Impala. Impala has no sponsor for 5 years. So 2 Floodies tournaments every year is what helps them get money. So we hope that we can change that narrative for the sport. Being a fan is good. We want to make it big and better for even Cobs fans, league fans, national team fans. It's a cascading effect whereby you have every stadium every weekend full. Even if it's Cobs Warriors, it should be, someone should be like, my proggy today is rugby. Even if it's Cobs Warriors, Cobs Rhinos, anything should be like driven to that direction, so that we have capacity to start thinking of how do we go to the next step now. Yeah, not having one big game or 2 big games this season, Cobs Pirates, Cobs Rhythms, and then
the
all the other
ones
ones are like 200, 550 people.
Yeah.
So that's for me the bigger picture, but it starts at home for us. It starts at home, and we're trying to streamline that. And yes, we appreciate all the people that are making that happen, especially our lovely fans.
Okay.
Yes.
So as we go away from this, maybe if you could list for us your achievements as COBS chairman.
Cops chairman.
You guys
as
have
humans,
like tangible things.
human psychology, you can do 1,000 good things and you do
Yes.
4 bad things.
Yeah.
The 4 bad things will be highlighted. Probably even someone can even pay for a front page on a newspaper
Yes.
for those bad things. But we want to give this platform maybe to you to just talk about the achievements you believe you have
First
had.
is rugby wise. Rugby wise for me, I'm a believer in development and continuity. And I played for Box, and I've done a three-peat. For me, that for me means Cobs in the next 5 years is going to be a record when all those boys come up. But, we've won the championship 3 times. We're almost going to the league, but we said no. Let's first reorganize and strategize. Bringing the girls' team back from the dead is for me the highlight. It's challenging, but part of my promise when I was campaigning to Anne and Domi, and I was trying to get Helen back, but she says I can't come back to Cobs now. But is that we, as much as we're progressing the men's game, we still need the women's side. It's been a challenge. They have no sponsor. We have to buy kit from here and there. We have to get numbers, but the numbers have improved. From 3 to 5 girls are training around Naguru. Now we have 18 girls are training, and that's for me a bigger positive for the club. The team itself having structure is key. We had Chiwalabi as a coach who then said, I want to play them and go back. And a director of rugby, Timothy Modola, then Wadia. I believe in structure. I don't believe in everyone doing everything. You just have to have a team that works and does get the results. Coach Makalama has done very well now.
Yeah.
I already gave you statistics of the bonus points. We were attacking carefree, scoring tries, but we still have to get better with time. So for me, pitch-wise, that side. Administrative-wise, is we have 7 sponsors now. We have 6. We're getting a 7th hopefully soon. But we have Jibbles on board. These are corporate sponsors that are associating with us. Gona Foods is on board. We have all our meals catered for the weekend. We have a strategic digital and advertising company. Fireworks Advertising is covering us for all our social media platforms, which we give, but also for strategic guidance on how to manage part of our sponsorship bargains, which may even get better.
Yeah.
We have Human Diagnostics, who gave us money for the pre-team kits and also tests for the kids. Every time we need support for players, kits and testing for HIV and all that. The Oral Cure brand. We finalized with Troika. Troika is the company we're trying to finalize with to get medical supplies covered. They've already paid for the medical teams and some of the members' new kits, which were part of our Cobs at 60 celebrations. And they've come on board. Again, today I've finished with them. I just met them today, and they want to take over our sponsorship of Box, which I need to submit a proposal by December, hopefully by January. They're saying, no, we can like it. We can become Dynapa Box. Dynapa is a anti-inflammatory drug. Yes, so that is it. We have a title sponsor, KCB. Now we're going to be opening accounts every weekend for free.
Yeah.
Even you can come. They have very good products. 20,000, you get a Visa card, and then you can facilitate your Nigos.
Yeah, swipe
swipe
away.
No Nigos for free. Pay some money.
You
Pay
can
them
swipe.
like 2 beers.
So for me, it's exciting times, and the people who want to look at success as winning only, sport can be very cruel. You're not entitled to win until you work hard.
Yeah.
So we've not been fully in that state of mind because of some of the few things here and there, but we're hoping that by next year we should be closing all these things and streamlining the club in the right direction.
So the things off the pitch, and then
So
on
the
the
things
pitch
is-
it becomes easy
on
to
the-
win.
on the pitch
And
it becomes-
that's what we said. When Cobs has this one,
Hey,
they know what to do.
then they should look out for them.
We're coming. We're closing
Maybe
the
just
transfer
to
window.
shortly clarify, it was 95 million, right?
Yes, 95 million.
Is it all cash or it's the sum in kind?
70 cash and 25 for kits and replicas and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we need you guys all to be in replicas of KCB.
No, definitely. Me,
Definitely.
I have decided.
Actually, I want to buy all kits,
Yeah,
all teams.
I
If
think
possible,
I have
would.
decided that I'm going to be a rugby jersey collector.
Yes. So every
Even
weekend we have
Walukuba, I'm coming for the jersey.
That's perfect because we are loading, we're increasing our fan base. Part of the Chitaka 10s was for us to, it was a bit fast track because we were moving targets with the Kenyan teams. We wanted the Kenyan teams to be here. We didn't want to clash with Safari 7. But also, the fact our bigger picture is to have warm up 10s at all the universities where we just go. And our sponsor Shell had actually said, you know what, it's a bit, but next year we're doing it better. Whereby we'll go to Nkozi, a weekend of rugby teams, and then come to Impis, come to Mobs, come to any university that plays rugby, so that we have like a ceremonial 10s aside tournament. That will be obviously after we've rested from the 7s, and then 4 weeks of rest, we come back and do the 10s. So the essence is to increase bums on seats. As much as you have all these things, no club will be okay if you don't have fans.
Yeah.
And also, hopefully, this gives other platform because we have a product that's getting better, and then we need to excite sponsors to come. If we say we have a fully fledged 10 club league, all of it should be sponsored. I mean, the people should be fighting to sponsor all the teams. Even the last team that's about to get relegated should have at least 2 corporate companies saying, I'd rather be in that space for this weekend, even if it's that. So that's a bigger picture for us in terms of the development from COBs onwards. Yes, but definitely.
I think one thing I've liked, and I'm going to steal it and use it. The phrase "bums on seats." I'm going to use it. It's very interesting.
Yes.
But anyway, you mentioned one thing that I think I liked, and I wanted to talk about, but maybe I'm not putting in my notes.
Yeah.
That do you think all those things that you've mentioned are enough for Cobs to catch up to teams like Pirates and Heathens in regards to capturing the younger fan? We do understand that Cobs relates with fans such as myself and Edwin.
Yes.
But we're not your average young
Edwin
people
is young.
I'm a young old guy.
He's a young
I
old
don't
guy.
want to reveal
I'm a young old
it.
guy.
I don't know what activities he's up to outside the podcast.
Yes.
But,
So
I mean, appealing to the younger demographic and making sure that there's continuity with the fans. Do you think that you guys, what your strategy is enough to catch up with Pirates who are having a juggernaut of a
Of fans,
strategy?
yes. So the bigger picture for us is that, and to an extent, it costs money. Like even hosting a fans engagement, you need to have money.
Yeah.
So we've already had the blueprint done, and part of our sponsors, lucky enough, so all in terms of funds. So even the fact that we can have a funds engagement and open spontaneous accounts of swiping. So definitely we have bigger plans of getting our fan base there.
Yeah.
We have a concrete fan base that's been there. It's been inactive of sorts. Activating it is what we need to do, and we're working with our home ground for now legends and stuff like that. But we have a definite plan for that. Yes.
Okay. I think my last question before I let Edwin handle the trivia will be one of the things that I think I am constantly learning from Edwin is conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Now, over time, of course, I'm sure every club goes through these things, and it's currently happening now. There are divisions within the club.
That's a division. That's
Division is a big word.
That's a very big word.
Okay. How can we term it as rifts?
Squabbles.
Different opinions.
Different opinions. How are you planning to bring all these people to the table?
So the essence
Put
is
the opinions in motion.
So the opinions are in motion, and we are engaging people at different levels. All fans have a channel of communication, which is any member of EXCOM and Capital anything, and we're trying to raise the profile of engagement. We have the communication is what was necessary for the time we didn't have sponsorship, and like the different opinion of running a club does not necessarily make us different in terms of what we will want for the club. So we are constantly engaging. There's a fans group, I think there's a fans coordinator, but we are going to have multiple engagements going forward for fans to meet the players and realize that we're all on the same page. We're all on the same page. We want a club that's vibrant, and a few egos on the side and a few sentiments aside, we want the club to be winning. and that's the bigger picture. No one has an issue with anyone per se. If your opinion is there, respect the fact that there's a different opinion and listen, and also seek out for any submission you want. It's as simple as that. You don't have conflict like you say. I don't want to call them heavy conflict. What's it called? Ad hominem, where the focus is off the person's opinion, and then they attack different aspects or conflict in that aspect. And as for straight, we're like the bigger picture is Cubs want to move to greatness as a team, and all members are entitled. But there are forums we do this, and no one is closing the forum. But like you said, the battle is part of the biggest challenge. I don't think I like engaging in it, and usually when someone sends me something, I'll be like, verify your facts before you conclude. Call whoever you think it is. I deal with students in Makerere, but you have people who are true ones, you have people who are focused, they come. So you want, as a teacher, you want by the end of their 3-year time with you that they are decent professionals and have the non-technical skills of communication and reaching out when you have a divergent opinion. And that's the basis of what we're trying to do in the sport. Yeah.
Are you planning to stand for a second term?
Well, I would welcome the mandate. That's part of the interest. It's exciting times now. Well, yeah. And the journey is not yet done. We will submit ourselves to members, and definitely, if they accept, that's definitely a welcome idea, because the club is bigger than all of us. All we're just contributing this. Yes.
Okay, Edwin, I think let's jump into the trivia now.
Yeah, you mentioned you played with many guys, a magistrate. You have some people who are now directors of rugby. Others are playing in Entebbe. So give us, who, if you had a dream 15 to save your life,
Dream
who would you
15
pick
team.
from 1 to 15? We'll spare you the burden of picking subs. So whoever is on your team is your guy. They're playing 80 minutes.
80 minutes.
Yes.
How? Wow.
And don't mention only cops, guys.
No.
Let's start with
We're
the
going to be
front row. One,
Yeah.
two, three.
Front row ideally would be the 2007 front row. Though that would be between the hooker would be. I'd definitely go with Alex Morio.
Yes.
Though the late Mochiga for me was also kind of lethal, because I saw him in Amigang when I was in this one, and we kind of gravitated to. He went to Pirates, I went to Cobs, but he was very lethal in what he did. So Mobiru was my first coaching student when I was in Essex back. I coached Chambo between the sevens. So he was part of something I saw growing and how he developed into the player he is. So for me, it would be Fred Mobiru and Brayo Kalama. 4 and 5 again. It's tight. I played with there's the late Rujumba, who was the powerful menace, and the late Gaston Onono, who were the ones when I joined. So I joined the team when the old 2002 team was going, but the power they had was quite massive. Now, versus Victor Wadia and Soita. Soita was a huge beast who was quite crazy. So that leaves me in... but the finer skills person in terms of lineouts, I'll take one with Soita, and the power plays in terms of lifting, carrying, and Wadia. So that would kick out Gasson and Rujumba, because Rujumba was brute, and for him it was, if things are not there, put him there, he'll open the way. So for him it was bang bang. 6, 7, 8. I'm tempted to go to Cobb's back row of Ogwete, Roger Rukundo, and Adrian, but Sogi would take my open players. 6. Open player would be Magona, Peter. So I'm number 8, definitely Adrian Bukenge. Yeah, because he was an epitome of a silky player. His favorite players in Zambrook. And when we kept, he was my roommate for most of the national team engagements after he joined. But very lazy to work in the gym. But when he counter-attacked and jumped in the line out, he got results. So that would be him, Sogi, and Magona. Leaving out Roger Rukundo and Ogwete, who for me are also lethal in their own way. But those for me are my 6, 7, 8.
Halfbacks.
Halfbacks. Without a doubt, I'd go for Alan Masiko.
Mm.
Alan
Same on the
Masiko
weekend.
is now a bit fat and chubby, but he was.
It still looks the same to me.
No, boss. Alan was fit. Yes. Between Gama, him, and
Karumuna.
Karumuna. Karumuna is a person I feel didn't fulfill his rugby potential. Yes. Chinene is plus minus. Chinene, for me, would be winger /9 because of what he did at his end of rugby national team was quite interesting. So, but what Masiko gave was a boot at the base, a very long pass, usually composure and arrogance. Basically, what Wanyama is doing now is what Masiko was. We had to save him from many fights, and as a center, it was very cleaning up for him. So, I played with him in Cobs. He came from Pirates, came back, but he played with us in Cobs for a long time, and most of the fights he'd start them and leave us to finish them. But his brain for me was that he was continuously watching. The new guys coming up now, but those are still young guys. So Chinene and Chiwa would be among there. Chiwa is one of the youngest people I've seen. Fly half. Fly half. I can't. Victor Kalimugogo for me is a standoff who was very composed and read the game 3 or 4 phases ahead of himself. And when I came to Cobb, I was a center who had come from scrum up, and I was always looking down. And I would run and maybe just get the ball and look down. And told me, you know what, as a center, you have to look at all moving objects, look for a space, and see how to exploit them. He's a mentor of mine who taught me how to understand what the backline running is, what the defense patterns are, and not rushing in defense. Most centers rush out wide, but there is a patience you have to have that you don't move, but before the ball has passed you 12. So most people move even when the ball's at 10, so you open a gap. So you have to be hold, and plan how to move forward. So Victor taught me all these things, and his brain was rugby brain ahead of time, and he taught me how to watch Super 12 rugby. But the Don is Edmond Tomsile. Without a doubt. The things he has done, and because I watched him, in Namilyango he was never in line to be a flyer. And when I was coaching is when he was picking in LOS5 or S4, and they hated me because Chambo kept beating them. I remember he used to jeer at me and went to Chadondo for the first few months in, I think, Buffaloes, until someone told him, boss, come back to box. So he's a gifted player that put so much effort. Didn't drink on campus, would watch games for 7s. He'd be there at 7 a.m., walk around the pitch, understand what I want to do when I get this point. And as we're in Cobs and trying to find our footing, the guy is there at 7. First guy helping team set up the place. So he was a kick of both legs, left and right, and massively for me was a defender. Of all the flyers I played with, most of them had shoulders that were weak, but Edmond put his foot down. And when the going got tough, you carried the weight with him. So for me, what he's done as a player and his brain, but most importantly, the effort he did is remarkable for me. So he would edge Victor Kalimugogo. But also he has a record of the first box player to make national team before playing for Cobs.
Oh,
yes.
He was called to the national team
before he played
when he was playing for box.
So he shone for box, and they picked it and started national team. Then that's when Cobs said, "Oh, you can come and play." So that's how skillful he is, and he has a brain. And the fact that he was complimentary, because at 12 you need a talking flyer who also understands when he's stressed and cannot take so much. Because if you just got a big hit, you're still dazed and confused. So you need to call a move that goes wide as this guy catches his breath. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
12. That's another conversation when you bring that debate of the greatest flyer. You said he came from box to the
straight
national
to the national team. No one has come from the second division to the national team. So yes. Centers, without putting myself part of the people I'd think about between John Musoke and Paul Kabazi. Those two almost the ultimate 12s I know in terms of your job description of setting up and everything. And understanding that your job is to set the outward backs going. So between Kabazi and John Musoke, I'll go with John Musoke because I've played longer with him and I've seen what he can do at that. And then Kabazi would be my next in line. Yeah. Without putting myself would come yes, but that takes me to 13.
I've been waiting for this one.
13, I've played quite a number of 13. My first 13 was Lucas Ocheng. I was in Heathens in 2003, and then I played with, I think Nathan Wasolo in Bok Cobs. And 13 is quite a different and difficult number. That as much as at 12, you have to know what to do when the ball is moving, you have to have a 13 that knows when to tell you to move with them. And for me, Timothy Mudola was the one that I clicked with of all the 13s that played with me. And because the calmness of defense in the center is essential, that you can be opened up like a problem if you don't have that 10, 12, 13 line in check, and they know how to in sync and run. Because most of the game plans resolve around opening the 12, 13 channel. So if you don't have people that are steady, can tackle and can move in the right direction, that channel can be a problem. And Timothy did it that very well. We had our battles with Pirates, but Etiquette is one that used to suffer with us the most when it crossed from Colts back to Pirates. So we had a way we'd let it get enough space, so you always thought there was a gap there. But that would be 13 for me. 14 definitely is Alan Musoke. Alan Musoke is noisy, but he's the best thing that happened to us picking at Cobbs. I played with him in Ruga. Me and him were dropped actually in 2001 for the sevens because there were too many superstars. We played in Ruga and won the only sevens. Ruga was a break-off team from Impis. But that's when I knew there was a first guy at the wing who was saving us when we were down. And then I see him coming back for Cobbs training. We had been training, but so in essence, you need a winger that does the finishing job very well. Because you can battle inside Nyama Kunyama, but when the push comes to shove, you have a person who will deliver results. But also he was so noisy that even before we made the move, he's shouting for the ball and you're like, boss, calm down. The ball is coming. But he didn't stay on his wing. He knew how to look for work. He would move from 14 channel to 11 channel and out of the blue. You find him and he's scoring tries in the 11 wing. Yes, so that's my 14. 11. 11, there's a guy from Rhinos called Bonnie Morrow.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is now, but he has been having a sad patch. But for me, that made me understand that the difference between club rugby and national team is key. He played for Rhinos. He was never very outstanding in terms, but when he put on the national team jersey, the things he did are key in terms of transformation. Between him and Chimono are the guys I'll choose for that, because my last cup was Chimono's first cup, and I'd been watching him from school, and then his understanding of the game and self-drive is key. And but Bonnie for me I played I think 3 or 5 years with him, and the national team. The fact that he'd come from a not lackluster, but a season
at the time, yeah.
Yes, but then every time he stepped into the national team, big shoulders, big hits, big runs, understanding how to be in presence. So that for me, my 11 and 14.
Yeah, I remember I watched that game. You gave Chimono a back in.
Yeah, Chimono.
And then he went.
That game was one of the most motivated because we had things that had jammed. And all the moves, I think Habo as the backs coach had jammed. And after 20 minutes, I'm like, this cannot go on like this. Zimbabwe was tackling everything from walkers to be sure we couldn't even do any more. So there's something we had in Cobbs. I just told Chimono, you know what, let's try this run back in. Because I've seen the centers 10 are very tight. So at 30 minutes, I told him come on my inside. Somehow he came at the right time, broke the line till the 5 yards.
Until he scored.
This was unscripted. So the 10 did not understand what hit him. So I just kept quiet. I said, fine, this we cannot do. So obviously there was noise from outside. Where is this move coming from? I said, don't worry, let's just move. So towards his second, he didn't score a try that time, I was tackled. So he, again, second half came on, we were not doing anything well. And they were spreading us thin. Told him, come back again. This time he took them properly till the try. So to an extent, it's just dynamism, but some of the things about reading what's ahead of you. Chester told us, I am only coaching you for first 5 phases, 3 to 5 phases. After 5 phases, you're playing what's ahead of you because it's unscripted at some point.
Yeah.
So you cannot say I'm going to cram this movie. It's going to score. If it scores on first phase, well and good. But Chester says what I need all of you to have is rugby understanding of positioning after the third and fifth phase. Yeah.
15.
15 is also tight. So 15, without a doubt, between two people, Wakabi Simon and Tabaruka Ngotha. Tabaruka because he's was very, very calm and composed at the back, and he was a lethal guy in attack. I'd go with Wakabi Simon because he had a boot, he had an X factor about him, and he knew how to flip games upside down. He literally won us the Namibia game at Legends, and we were in the line with Adrian and running in our 22, and he's weaving past the first guy. Adrian tells him, you bounced. Basali cut the second guy, finished him, and he has easy running, like basically like Timothy Kisiga, where you don't think the guy is fast, but he's running and weaving past all the Namibians. This is Scout Berger, who was just starting the winger, couldn't even catch up with him. So he played the most at 15 in terms of strategy, but very temperamental. Sometimes you can get the good one, you can get the flip side. But yes, definitely Wakabi for his boot and his attacking prowess. For calmness and composure, Tabaruka was the guy. As in, you don't expect mistakes from him, and you're sure you'll have the calmness. But Wakabi was giving you everything in terms of calmness, attack, composure, kicking, place kicking for touch and stuff like that. So yes, that would be my 1 to 15.
We had that space where we were asking those Kenyans whether they have beaten Namibia before, or name a time when they did. And it's just unfortunate that this game of Namibia, Uganda, I think it was 2019.
Yes.
Where the score was 2019.
That was the one. That was the score.
Now, that game, I think I've only seen 2 clips. Only 2 clips.
That game was intense.
2 clips. One where they knocked on in our area, and one where you'd see Alan Masoke ducking tackles and whatever.
So that time when they knocked on in our try area, I was actually the person they hit at the try area, and in 15 minutes they had scored 2 tries. Wasolo Nathan was counting the tackles and said, "Boss, you had done 12 try tackles by the time that happened." I don't even remember what happened, but I felt like, what am I doing in national team? This is a 3rd try in 15 minutes, and we're aspiring to win the African Cup. But lucky enough, Mubiru was above me, and he had tackled the guy and forced the ball out. So he slapped me back to my senses and says, "Boss, we are going for scrum down on 5, wake up." I said, "It's not a try." It's like, "Yes, we're going to 5. So that's when we realized these guys were out to blister us, and then we realized, but these guys are tired at 20 minutes. Can we do something? I think then Wakabi broke through and scored. Adrian Soke then scored a try, I think also Alan. And just like that, the game, second half was bruising because your lungs are tired, everything is running haywire, but you need to keep the 1 point gap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a illustrious lineup. Hopefully we'll get all their photos and pictures to put there. Maybe lastly, your toughest opponent against Kenya, considering we have the Elgon Cup. Well, whenever you play Kenya, who was that guy who would just be a problem? Mention like 5 or 3.
So the centers have also been a problem in Kenya. Before I came, I didn't have it. So I knew the constant was Lavin Asego at 10, Humphrey Kang at 13. And the 212s that were almost changing were not my toughest. The toughest one I met, I think, was my first year of Cups and everything, and he disappeared. But they kept having changing 12s. So I don't remember the names, but I know most of the faces. Kenya is a big pack game. Smaller. If you miss tackles and give them 10 inches, you will take a mile. So I was literally only tackling most of the back rows because that game plan was towards 10, 12. Yeah. So yes, so you had all of them running to you. So you can't really say at 12 you're going to do a 12 that is going to, because the 12 is running out as you're getting off the break line. Yeah. So, but the Victoria Cup on the weekend for me, if the boys are up, they should be able to do it. It's a massive win for them and a confidence booster. They can do it definitely. The pack is strong and solid. Captain Magom is on fire. Wanyama is as nasty as ever, which is good for them. Kenyans need counter-attacking and all that. Yes, backline is gelling now, and I'm optimistic that they definitely will show up and do the Victoria Cup damage. Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. So, any last words you'd like to put across before we close this discussion?
Just thank you guys for the time. It's always good to come and talk rugby. It's our first love. Most of my exes didn't like that I said rugby was my first love.
Also told the babe something
Yeah,
like that, and she jumped me.
But it's always good to discuss and catch up with rugby and hope for the better. Most importantly, I hope the Cranes can win in Kenya because that's most important for us to boost our ranking, but also our next few years going forward. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Another conversation, of course, with the Fat Cats Rugby Podcast with Dr. Tony Stone Luggya here, just telling us all from club to national team to a lot of stories, and we do appreciate his time. Of course, myself and Edwin, thank you for being part of this experience here at the Fred and Winnie B&B. And see you guys. Look out for our YouTube. There are lots of videos. There's lots of content for you guys to indulge in, from Victoria Cup to a lot that's coming up from trips to Kenya. So look out for that as well. Cheers, and thank you for being part of this experience.
Asante sana.